Khartoum Reuters fighting in Sudan's capital escalated on Wednesday with fierce clashes and airstrikes, witnesses said, as delegations of rival military factions continued talks in Saudi Arabia aimed at securing a ceasefire and humanitarian relief. Residents reported ground battles in several neighborhoods of Khartoum between the army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RCF), as well as heavy gunfire in the north of Omdurman and the east of Bari, two adjacent cities separated from Khartoum by the River Nile. The army has been pounding targets across the three cities since Tuesday as it tries to root out RCF forces that have taken control of large residential areas and strategic sites since early in the conflict that erupted on April 15.
There's been heavy airstrikes and RPG fire since 6:30 a.m., said Ahmed, a resident of the Bari neighborhood of Shambat. We're lying on the ground and there are people living near us who ran to the Nile to protect themselves there under the embankment.
The conflict has created a humanitarian crisis in Africa's third largest nation by area, displacing more than 700,000 people inside the country and prompting 150,000 to flee to neighboring states. It has also sparked unrest in Sudan's western Darfur region. The World Food Program said that up to 2.5 million more Sudanese were expected to fall into hunger in the coming months because of the conflict, raising the number of people suffering acute food insecurity to 19 million. Army and RCF delegations have been meeting since the end of last week. Negotiations aim to secure an effective truce and allow access for aid workers and supplies after repeated ceasefire announcements failed to stop the fighting. A Western diplomat familiar with the talks in Jeddah said there had been no concrete outcome so far, but mediators intended to keep going on.
Since the battles began, the RCF have dug in across Khartoum neighborhoods, set up checkpoints, occupied state buildings, and placed snipers on rooftops. The army has been using airstrikes and heavy artillery to try to dislodge them. Late on Tuesday, the RCF said the historic presidential palace.
Drone footage filmed on Wednesday and verified by Reuters appeared to show the building, known as the Old Republican Palace, intact, though smoke could be seen coming from the southeast edge of the palace compound. The fighting has left more than 600 people dead and 5,000 injured, according to the.
Our only hope is that the negotiations in Jeddah succeed to end this hell and return to normal life, and to stop the war, the looting, the robbery, and the chaos, said Ahmed Ali, a 25-year-old resident of Khartoum. Aid agency Islamic Relief said many aid operations in Darfur and Khartoum remained.
Food prices have tripled in some areas, and banks are struggling to function, leaving many people unable to access cash to buy essentials. It said in a statement.
It plans to provide aid to thousands of people in Al Jazeera state, southeast of Khartoum, to where some 50,000 people have fled, as well as to people in parts of Khartoum state and North Kordofan, where fighting has raged. Conflicts are not new to Sudan, a country that sits at a strategic crossroad. The United Nations has projected that 5 million additional people will need emergency assistance inside Sudan, while 860,000 are expected to flee to neighboring states, reporting by Khalid Abdelaziz in Dubai, Mohammed Nureldin in Khartoum, Aidan Lewis and Nafiza Al-Tahir in Cairo, George Sargent in